Welcome back to the CA Short Company All In Employee Podcast, where we're all in and give generously. And we're really glad you're here. I'm your host, Cherie Lucas. Today, I don't have a co-host. However, I have a very esteemed guest that I'm really excited to talk to you about. And she is a great example of being all in everything she does. And she's a whirling dervish, and and we appreciate who she is. We work with her closely and love Ms. Kimberly Huffman, who has been with Dollar General since 2012. She's held multiple roles, and currently she is the Vice President in Human Resources at Dollar General Corporation. Now, here's the part I want you to really listen to, because you, as our most of you are our customers, so these are going to be some great opportunities for you to learn. She and her team are focused, and I want to hear this word, focused, on creating and implementing intentional, that's another word, intentional employee experience strategies. In other words, strategies. They've taken time to plan, to strategize. So let me put it all together. She and her team are focused on creating and implementing intentional employee experience strategies. And these strategies focus on employee development, employee engagement, and on driving vital business priorities with the power of these engaged employees that they're focused on. Kimberly graduated summa cum laude from Minot State University with bachelor degrees in business management and marketing, a minor in accounting, and a concentration in statistics. I'm blown away. And I just want to say, Kimberly, and to everyone else, I am capable of all those things that you are specializing in, but I am so happy to surround myself with people who will do those so I don't have to, because it just sucks the life out of me. So in addition to all that, Kimberly has worked for the government. She has worked in the nonprofit sector and the major retailer Walmart Stores Incorporated, where she held head positions in the headquarters office. Now, if that's not enough, Kimberly has been serving on the board of Recognition Professionals International for 4 years now, and she is currently the Vice President and Director of Communications. Can't even say the word, communications. And I don't know how she has free time, but somehow in her free time, she enjoys spending the time with her husband, her 3 children, and her 3 German shepherds. So please help me welcome warmly to the room, Kimberly Huffman. Yay, Kimberly, I'm so glad you're here.
Cherie.
You are welcome. And since I don't have anybody else in the room that like Tim or Jim, or I'm going to call you Kim, we had this conversation, didn't we? Do you prefer Kim or Kimberly? And you answered it both. And Kim is nice and easy, but we know sometimes when there's, someone else in the room with a similar name, then it gets confusing. So now that we know we don't have to worry about that, I'm going to say Kim.
Wonderful. I love it. And thank you for the introduction. You did a great job. I haven't seen my whole life summed up in like 2 minutes before.
I have a feeling that that's not the case. That is not your whole life. You are so all in and so fully in with a full life that there's no way that sums up your whole life. So we appreciate that you are sharing just this precious gem of, this nugget of time that you have with us. So thank you for that.
Happy to do so.
Well, Kim, where should we start? I love your whole history, and I love who you are and on behalf of Dollar General. And so we definitely will, want to talk about whatever you want to bring up about that. But then I'm just so really interested in your position and your history and your journey with RPI, or Recognition Professionals International. So much going on with that, right? And it really shapes who you are in your current position with Dollar General as well. Is that fair to say?
It is. And really, I can go back to, you mentioned something back in the day, Minot State University, which people are like, who is that? What is that? And that's in Minot, North Dakota, because my husband was active duty stationed there for the Air Force. And why I say all my passion for people starts back then is because I was going to the Ohio State, which I still absolutely love. But then you get married and it was cheaper to go to North Dakota. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I already had a plan. And so that's why I majored and minored in every little thing that I could that I had interest in, because I wanted to I was afraid people wouldn't know who Minot was and how do I get a job. And with all of that saying, none of that has human resources in any of those places that I studied. But yet I spent most of my career in HR. And so I say that kind of gets to the passion, because what I realized with all of these backgrounds, you can't do anything without people and humans. And so that has been my passion since then, because all these other business things are wonderful and great, but we're all humans at the end of the day. And how you interact and connect and engage is what truly gets business results.
Yeah, that's so well said. What else can I say, right? I would accept to expound on that and say, isn't that just true outside of business? I mean, it's our whole life. It's our personal relationships. It's everything. It's about human beings, about people. And people are messy, by the way, if y'all hadn't noticed, right? And that's why we have things like employee engagement and employee recognition and employee incentivization. Like how do we get these people together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to create what we are visioning. And so on that, what is just wait, I want to back up a little. I was listening to you and we're talking about even when you were in college, you were obviously have always been a visionary and someone who can see the big picture and what's on the road ahead, and just intentionally paving that road in that trajectory to that vision. And so I am really interested to hear, what are you envisioning now? Let's just do your personal life first, and then we can talk about in business and in your profession.
Yeah. Geez, I don't know if I've thought ahead, so I don't know. We'll see where that's at. We mentioned the word intentional. Everything I do is typically either overthought or very, very intentional, because to your point, there's a lot on my plate. 3 kids and 3 German Shepherds could probably take up a whole plate if it really, fun to add the husband in there. Definitely does.
Yes.
So I space out my time very thoughtful and intentional to what matters to me and what I know that I want to help grow into. So it was something around continuous learning, connection with other people outside of work, or outside of like having that friend group, or having other hobbies outside, like RPI, something I am passionate about that I can keep driving. Like I have time for that. Church is another big one. Exercise is another big one, because I want to stay healthy for the future. So I really try to fill my time with things that I know, even though I don't know where my future will lead me to, that I know I'll be set up for success, because I'll have that. I don't know if I'll be eating right, but I can lift some weights, I can love some family, I can have some hobbies, read some books, and keep learning.
I love that. And my brain is just, the wheels are turning and turning with my background as a certified life coach and as an executive coach and corporate culture coach. I'm like, yes, yay. And you're like the poster child for, especially life coaching. Well, really any of those areas that's so important to do all those things to make sure you are whole and healthy. So you can be completely engaged in your own life now and for the future. And you said, you're not really sure what the future looks like, but I love what you told us, because you really do see that the vision for the future is that you get to be the best version of you that you can be, so that you can be present and existing in that future for whatever is happening. Because as you and I both know, no matter how much of a planner you are and an overthinker, which can really derail us, right? The overthinking, I do that too. No matter how much we can do that, the road is never just as the crow flies from A to B, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
Z, then P, and then T, and back to Y, and over the hills and in the valley. It's just all over the place getting there. And so to keep ourselves in the best possible well-being that we can, meaning physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, so that we can easily be flexible and flow through all those turns and detours and all those things, right? So you are visioning the future. And I love that, how you are just really putting into your life the things that keep you full. I like to tell people, we were raised, most of us, to think of yourself as selfish. And to me, I'm like, either redefine the word selfish to what that it's a good thing, or like, no, it's not selfish. It's the best giving that we can do for the people in our lives, for, like putting on our oxygen mask in the airplane. I've used this illustration a million times. Why do they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first? You can't help someone else if you're not conscious, if you're not living.
So
right?
true. I am my best self whenever I do those things. And my husband can tell whenever I don't do those things, and probably my workplace too. And I'll share that it has taken me, it's not easy sometimes, because you want to get something done and you got to stay intentional about it and disciplined with it. But that's where, again, I'll tie it back to that recognition piece of it, because I have one of those persons my whole life of like, words hurt. Words matter. Like, or if you're not, like, you want to excel and achieve, or you want to get that good job, because we usually go to work to get, like, to do well. Nobody usually intends to do harm or not do well. And so I had to be my best self, because I would hear words or I wouldn't hear thanks or recognition, and that could down spiral someone really quickly. So that's another reason why it's important for me to share with others when you see something well or you want that, because why not? Why not share the good?
And that's leadership. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is leadership, is being aware of those things and then not just acknowledging them, which is huge, but owning it and taking responsibility to, again, be your best self, which makes you the best leader. Because really, at the end of the day, isn't that your job? Isn't that my job? Is to lead what we want people to do. So if we want people to be engaged and motivated and productive and give us their best, we get to be that first. So people learn from seeing somebody else do it, right? And lead what it is that we want to be able to bring out in other people. And that's, and people too. I am more willing to follow people who are willing to lead the way by doing it with me, right? Instead of just saying, you do this, and they walk off and do whatever it is. So that's great leadership. I love that. And that is great employee engagement. So what are some stories you might have, or examples you might have of that you want to share with us about great employee engagement, and maybe singular stories of an individual, or maybe a bigger picture story of a whole group? I don't know. What do you want to share?
I think if I go back to why it continues to be so important, why I've seen it and why it works. Like, we read in all the books, that it's there, but whenever you see it in real life or see how it unfolds, like, you just start drinking that Kool-Aid and want more of it. But I'll go back to the first time where I realized how much just engagement or connection mattered. And that was back on the military days, because I worked on the base at the community center with a bunch of airmen who, population North Dakota isn't that high. So most of them were not from North Dakota, and it can get just a little bit cold there for about 10 months out of the year. And so my role was at the community center building programs, anything to help connect the airmen, because their first time into a base, like trying to get to know, like, how do you get to know people? They're just doing their job, going home, they are out of whatever that is. So we did anything from an egg hunt around Easter time or on Thanksgiving, we serve the elderly and they were in their blues, kind of showing that respect with the values of the military, to a talent show, to game nights, things to help connect different hobbies and different people. We'd have let them submit their own clubs. We'd have a place where they could work and study together. And so that's not necessarily just saying thank you or giving out awards, but by providing an environment that let them connect with each other and open the door, it was incredible to see how well that the airmen gelled and were there for each other. Morale, like, I truly think that that is a part that's going to help them be in the military even better, do their jobs even better, as well as help them live their full lives.
I love that. And even back then, were you doing this intentionally, or is that just who you are and what you do?
I can't say that I was doing it intentionally. I was just trying to, I saw it working. So we kept doing more. What else can we do? How can you loop people into it? So I think innately, it just has always been my passion, and I've incorporated that into everything has led up to where I am now, to, like we said, intentional moments and things like that, because you have to have the right environment. When I worked for a nonprofit, that's where I learned like the visibility and frequency and measurement. And what I mean by that and how it's important in creating an overall engaging experiences around nothing related. Sure, like it's not all recognition, but just when I think about and reflect back on how I realize how important and why I'm so passionate about it and will preach it until the day I die, is I worked for a nonprofit called Enactus. It is a business organization. So if you went to have a business major, they're on several schools, and they are all about teaching someone to fish, not providing the fish. And so as business students, you had to be a part of this organization that would go out and help businesses or help people get jobs, because we were studying business. So you're learning your skills that you're learning in school, and you're helping people. And so I wrote grants to get money for these college students so they could go and enact this. And so what I learned is when I could measure how successful they were and the impact they were making and helping others or engaging others and how to get excited to get a job. And whenever that made them more visible to leaders, like, and it like they got more members added, we got more funding added, we were able to impact more people, and we were able to do that in that frequency. Like, it was like a snowball, and it kept going. And so that's where it was really learning that even though these are HR could be fluffy things or whatever that might be, like when you can measure it, you can make them visible, and you can do it repetitively, you'll see your impact skyrocket.
I love that so much. That just you're plugging into my heart. I love that. And how do you see that, Kim? How do you see that working in business and your everyday work life? Mm-hmm. Through Dollar General or even through RPI, because even though it's your passion and it's to be, and you're on it by choice on their board, it's still work, and it's still part of the profession. And so how do you see those same principles in action on a daily basis, and then how do you nurture them in the appropriate ways in a work environment?
Mm-hmm. Currently we do our engagement surveys or check-in surveys all the time, because feedback truly matters. I mean, I can build a program all day, put a process in place, but if we're not impacting employees, or if we're not getting their feedback to continue and enhance it, or if it's not even relevant to what they want, then it doesn't matter. So getting that continuous feedback helps us. But when I think about the environment, the measurement, the visibility, and things I've talked about, it's that leadership support really helps create a baseline. So having your leadership bought in, or they know how important it is. And so at Dollar General, they know that.
Your leadership. So just can you be specific for people what you mean by that?
The top management at a company, the executive team, your boss, like whoever it is, like whenever they understand the importance of engagement and recognition, and they want to show that and live that, it just helps get it down into the culture so much more. So that is just one side note that has truly helped. But we do trying to think of a specific example that would show this. We have a company-wide app that we launched to be able to show things a lot more. And so this is new for us, but where I've seen it come to life is that we're in 20,000 stores, across the US, and very easy to, we serve very local communities here at Dollar General. But when we use our company-wide app and can share those things broadly, you get to really see the impact. And we try to share with our employees how much their roles matter. And when you can see the multiplication of what's happening across the company, like you even mentioned, like getting to go visit and provide them food and how incredible our employees are, that's one of our secret sauce. But two, like when they can see that together, they show the big footprint that we're able to create together. And that has helped a lot too. And then the last thing I'll say is from a measurement, I said we get our engagement surveys, and we can actually tie our engagement data to our customer satisfaction, to sales, to manager effectiveness. And so when you read the books and they say the data matters, like it's really, really cool to see it in your own company, your own data. And it really helps like us be able to target and help strategies to get our employees where they want to be, where they're happy to come to work and what that looks like, because that's when we'll really shine.
Wow. So can I just, let me make sure I heard this correctly. Focusing on your employees, you can see a direct correlation to your customer base and how they interact with you, including volume.
Mm-hmm.
And so including
Exactly.
the bottom line, an increase in the bottom line.
It does 100%. I would bet anybody will need to go find that measurement or whatever that is. And it's not easy to do, but you can do it and find it. And like, it matters. It works. And it's not that we're trying, like, it's a business strategy. And guess what? We get to treat each other really nicely too and help each other be better humans. Like, it's the best of both worlds.
So in the endeavor just to connect, meaning to have relationship, be engaged with another human being, and to make those relationships good and healthy and feel good and fulfilling, which is the basic human need, I think. By doing that in the workplace, we are increasing the bottom line. Mm-hmm. I like to talk about this a lot, the ripple effect. So by focusing on your employees, the ripple effect we've already mentioned is affecting your customer base. But think about beyond that, it's affecting their families, your employees' families, your customers' families, which means it's affecting the communities they belong to, whatever groups or organizations they belong to, or their work, their workplaces. And that's huge. And I know it's so fundamental. And so I'm obviously over exaggerating this, but I just can't not take this moment and make space for people to let that sink in. And here you heard it from someone who is into the numbers. She's into marketing and accounting and statistics. So she's connecting the dots. So I just really want everyone to hear this. And I'm trying to say it succinctly because I know that not all of our audience are viewers. A lot of them are just listeners. And so they're not seeing us. Wow. So if you could encapsulate that again, and you can even say it the way you said it, or just bullet point it, would you just recap that again? I just think that's so important. And everyone listen to this. She's giving you the keys to the kingdom right here.
Oh gosh, if I had to do it succinct, I would say the little things matter. By just connecting with each other, engaging with each other, taking a moment to pause. And when you have a good experience, say something about it. Let that person know behavior, because people tend to repeat behaviors where they're praised. So that doesn't mean you can't. I'm not being succinct anymore, but not to say you can't correct. This isn't about just rainbows and butterflies and always saying good job. This is about building that relationship and connecting, reinforcing positive behaviors, So then you have trust with each other and connection with each other to be able to have real authentic conversations too, and coaching conversations.
Yeah. Know the three words that I like to know, like, trust, right? If you
Mhm.
know, like, and trust someone, number one, you're willing to listen to them. Number two, you're willing to buy into what they're telling you, right? And number three, you're more willing to be authentic and not hold back. You're willing to trust yourself with them, that they have your best interests at heart. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And I'd say we also know it's simple, like saying thank you or a note. It doesn't always have to be a big fancy program. And I think that's where we get stuck a lot, and why I love being on the RPI board, because there's a lot of great big programs that we do that are absolutely astounding. Like so many, there's such a wide range. But at the end of the day, if leaders are saying thank you, and if they're having conversations and trying to intentionally connect each other, that stuff will just help elevate. But if you don't have that basic connection, whatever that might be, we can build every program in the world, but it doesn't work if people don't use it or talk to each other.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it can be perfectly a perfect blueprint on paper,
Mm-hmm.
but if nobody's actually doing it, it's constructing that building, so to speak, right? That structure, it's not going to work. And I want to take this time too to emphasize, and I know that you know this, Kim, and listeners, that no, I don't. It doesn't matter how much you're engaging the people at the bottom of the pyramid. If you do not have buy-in, like you were talking about earlier, from leadership, from the top down, it will not work, because uh, whatever shows up is whatever has trickled
Mm-hmm.
down from the very top.
Mm-hmm.
So it is essential to have that leadership buy-in. Absolutely essential to have that leadership, not just buy-in, but engagement, leadership engagement, and that true leadership showing us what it looks like. And like Kim said, just that very basic, if you're just an introvert and which, I get, you just, you get tired and drained from interaction. Just start simple and just acknowledge people, pardon me, in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
When you pass them, make eye contact, smile. Maybe you don't even have to say anything. Just start basic. If that's who you are, if you're already up there and you'd say hello to everybody all day long, and you have never met a stranger, then go, what's your next step? Come up with your next step. Maybe you take the time to intentionally pop your head into somebody's office and just say, I just really appreciate what you do in your role, like I told Kim earlier, like I could probably do what she had to do and it wouldn't be great. It would take me a really long time, and it would just suck the life out of me. I wouldn't last very long. So I just appreciate that she does what she does so well, so that I can do what I do well. And all you have to do is just say that. How it's not hard. It feels hard at first, but once you do it, it feels pretty good, right?
And as an introvert, I can share, like, it's not easy at first, but when you do, the impact, the reactions, what you feel whenever you make someone's day, or how you can have those conversations, real conversations, to get to where we want to go as a goals, or whatever that might be. It is so worth it. So from an introvert who does not, people, as much as I love people, they drain me, but yet I'm so passionate about them because of how important it is. So if anybody can connect, those that are introverts would know that it's a very interesting, yes.
It matter. And you get back what you, so much more than you're giving out anyway, by the way. If anybody, it's hard to imagine. I know people are out there that have not tried and just, they don't feel safe or whatever. But it's here you go. From Kim, who's an introvert. I'm clearly not, but I do have a balance in me that requires a lot of what would be considered introverted time, a lot of alone, sacred solitude, so that I can be my full extroverted self and connecting with people and giving, so you just get back so much more than you can even imagine. So I'm going to toss out there today the challenge to everyone to give it a try. Just think of one small thing that you can do. It doesn't have to be something huge, just something a little more than you've already done. And see how that goes for you, and make it small enough that you can absolutely do it and enjoy it. And then you'll see that motivates you to do more. But that's what, the usual matter, of course, is. So that's really awesome. So is there anything with RPI exciting that we need to know?
So if you're not part of Recognition Professionals International, you should sign up. There's a free basic member, but it's all about how do you bring recognition to life? Everything we've been talking about. We have 7 best practices that, and I could try to name them all, but that might, I might miss a few. So I don't know if I want to do that. No, let's do it. Let's just see if I can remember that. So our 7 best practices around building recognition, around having that leadership support. It is around also being able to train leaders on how they can help support the organization in the why. You have to be able to communicate what we're doing, because you can recognize all day long on these programs, but if you don't share it out there, talk about it, people aren't going to know. Let them have measurement, right? Measure the success of what you're doing. Have a goal. Let's not throw spaghetti on the wall. Like, what are you trying to solve for? You need to have a strategy. Talked about having a strategy overall. It's a little bit out of order. Let's see, 2 more. Flexible, right? You need to be able to flex. You can't just build this program that's so rigid that people can't get into it. How do you evolve? How do you enhance it every year? I talked about the feedback. Like, we've got to be able to make it better to what our employees need. And guess what? Employees are people. Human behavior changes. Think about post-pandemic. Like, we have to be able to flex to that. And one more, it's really basic. It has to be around, I think this.
You're doing so great. That's awesome.
Hold on, I got it. It's on my tongue. Celebrations. Like, make it a celebration. Like, you can just have a simple thank you, but when you do events too, so it's not just here's this program, like that's is that all of them?
She got it. That's awesome.
Part of it. But it goes into, like, it talks about, well, how do you make that happen? Like, how do you get leadership support? These best practices, and companies that put them out, like, really helped build their strategy out. And there's a connection of people that if you are struggling in an area, you can ask for help from members. And it's just a great place to really help each other, no matter what your role, no matter what company you're with, because we're all trying to help engage and connect people.
I love that. So I did hear you say that there is a free membership. So you guys took into it. If you aren't, if you're listening, most of you are, because you're connected into that arena of employee engagement, where you're working on retention, which is such a big deal right now, just trying to retain the people you have. And so how are you doing that? By engaging them, making people feel valued, recognizing and celebrating them, incentivizing them. So if you're in that arena, which, I'm not sure why you're here, unless you just love me, then well, I'm here because I love you, each and every one of you. I truly do. And my heart just gets so big, and I love it. So anyway, then you're into here because of the recognition, and this is your opportunity. This is like this golden free complimentary, like, let us help you. Mm-hmm. So look into Recognition Professionals International if you never have, and just get the free basic membership. And I think that, well, I don't know what are the other membership levels. Can you tell us about that? If for people who are already a free member, what other ways they can get involved?
There is a vendor type partnership for companies like CA Short, and then there's a premium member, which also gives you access to free webinars, additional content. We have courses to get certified as a recognition professional that goes through each of the basic strategies. So it gives us just a little bit deeper into all the great resources, better connections with the member group and access. And look, I'll even back it up to say, like, if you don't want to enter your email for a basic membership right now, because you're like, what is this thing? Go like us on LinkedIn or Facebook. Like, just ease your way in. Nobody's trying to do anything, but it'll help. And it has helped me not only just professionally, but also, I think I said before, like in my life. Like these are strategies that you can use. How do you connect with people? It's more than just a job.
Okay, I love that. I love that you gave them the back door. So, because yeah, we're all are like, oh my gosh, I have to get, put my email
More
on one more
emails.
thing and get
Mhm.
more, and I can't even get through my customers' emails, right? So LinkedIn, I heard her say
Mhm.
LinkedIn, and I heard her say
Mhm.
Facebook. And
Yeah.
do we just look for Recognition Professionals International?
Yeah.
Is there anything on there that's going to confuse us, and it's not
No.
y'all and or not us, or okay?
Recognition Professionals International. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I love that. That's a great tip. I love that for myself too. Just, go in there and kind of be a voyeur,
Yeah.
be on the outside looking in just to check them out. I love that. Okay. Any great late great things that you want to tell us about DG, about Dollar General?
Um, I want to share. It's not just about Dollar General, but the people at Dollar General and the leadership at Dollar General. So when I think back across my entire professional career, and saying, mind you, we've been talking for the last 40 minutes about how much I value the engagement, connection, personal touches, intentionality. So it's like inherently who I am. This is by far the best company I've ever been with to create moments that truly help you feel valued. And listen, like some of them are as simple as, I don't even know if my boss remembers it, but when I got promoted a couple years ago, they didn't just say, "Hey, you're promoted. Here's this." I got a random meeting with my leader and our chief people officer, and they put the agenda out and it said, "Promote Kim." And it wasn't about the title, it wasn't about the dollar amount. It was that they were the way that they did it, like that moment. Or another example, all Dollar General. At a CEO one time who randomly called me. So you get a phone call from your CEO coming in, it's a little bit apprehensive. And I answered, and he just said, "I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing this thing that I did." Like that, just as terrifying it was at first, it was like, oh wow, like he knows my name, right? And then the third piece I'd say of just these moments that have just really truly impacted me as an employee. I had a leader helped with an event, and he wrote me like a half-page thank you note, like a specific thank you note. Now, behind it, he had a gift card, which was really sweet that I wasn't expecting to. So I'm not saying there wasn't that way, but like the fact that they took the time to handwrite, like those are the things that in a very busy world, like that's what I remember. I don't remember the logo where I got. I don't remember that gift card, but because there was a note attached to it, right? Like so. That's what I would share about Dollar General. Is these are just the people here are pretty incredible.
I I am just grinning ear to ear right now. For those of you who are just listening and can't see, I mean, I know I smile a lot, but now my cheeks literally hurt because I'm smiling so big because my heart is just, I feel like I'm just watched a Hallmark movie. I'm a big fan.
And those were just personal examples, right? Like that was just experiences I've had personally. So
But it's true though, when you can impact other people and create an opportunities for them to experience for themselves what you just had, that's what we were talking about. What we've been talking about
Mhm.
this whole time, making people matter, eh, um, supporting people, creating an environment so people can fully experience
Yeah.
that connection and that feeling of like, wow, and of that I have meaning, I have purpose, and I make a difference.
Mhm.
And boy, do I love that. And so, listeners, viewers, were you paying attention? This is Dollar General, and this is the kind of environment, this is the kind of culture that is coming from the top down. So, I want you to imprint this in your brain and think about it, have it right there in the front of your mind. Because everywhere you drive, I've got, I pass 6 a day Dollar Generals, and you can let that be kind of your your reminder, your trigger to remind you of the good that's out there and that people are doing and that
Mhm.
people matter. And you can look at it and smile or look at it and have that wow, whatever it is that story did for you, that it's not even a story, it's a real thing, a truth that she shared from her experience. And it's so easy for you to do that for the people in your life, whether at work or at home. Did you hear the simple things that she said? It wasn't the gift card. It was a handwritten note. It was the phone call from the CEO. It was not the promotion. It was how it was presented. It was how the promotion was delivered. It, like, people got involved and made it an event that says you matter. This is good stuff. Really good stuff. We could have just said that and that would have been enough, because that's what we're trying to get across, right, Kim?
It is. And I'll share what I'm doing now from scalability, right? We talked about 20,000 stores and all these things, and it is not easy. We don't have it perfect. Play that out there. But what we're trying to do is create the resources that our leadership can have at the fingertips, create the company-wide app that you can easily go in there and thank somebody, have a thank you card sitting around, provide moments or share when special moments are in people's lives. So there's an opportunity to celebrate that. So again, we talked about, I can build a great strategy, but if nobody uses it, it doesn't go. So right now I'm trying to put it so front of face to make it as easy as possible, because it is not easy whenever life gets busy. And that's our goal now to be able to try to make those experiences more easily creatable.
I love that. Kim, we've said it in so many ways, but let's say one more way. And I'd like to get your take on it. If you could describe not just an all-in employee, but an all-in person, an all-in employee, an all-in leader, an all-in person of life. What is that? What does that mean? An all-in person?
I think being all in is taking care of yourself, where you know that you can show up as your best, because you will never be all in if you're not as your best, which allows you to be present. So you can be present in the world we live in. I know you want to wait till the end of the workday, or you want to get through this to the next thing, but life is the journey. So we're having it right now. So just be present in that, because then you can really be aware of what's going on around you and impact people. And then I think it's that reflection. What can you do better? At the end of the day, what went well, what didn't, so that way you can improve the next day, or keep doing the things that are working well. And then all in is taking action. You can say the right words, listen to the right words, all those things, but if you don't do something about it, if you don't say the thank you, if you don't, again, be the model of what it should be, then none of those other things matter either. So you have to take action.
Wow. So well said. That's beautiful. And I'm truly a good portion of this interview, Kim. I'm just going to tell you, I've just been really moved and just feeling so deeply what you're saying, because you're just really pegged and driven nails right into the core of connection, which is, what you have started at the very beginning talking about: connection. And that is the core of, your business success. That is the solution for your business success. That is the solution for your personal relationship success, your own personal fulfillment. I'm just bowled over. It's amazing. So, Kim, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time to spend today, not only with our audience, but with me. I feel like I've just had this personal conversation with you that was meant just for me, and is such a gift. And you have definitely had a big impact on me, not just today, but going forward. And I'm really happy that I get to do the journey with you, because we're connected with our PI and with CA Short and DG partnership. So it's really exciting for me. And you guys, you can create this. You can create this right here, and it's everything. It is the success of all. This is the goal right here. Thank you for sharing that. Kim, do you have any shout outs you want to make before we go off air?
Oh my goodness. I have an experienced team here that has just been so amazing to help a lot of the work get done. The leadership here at Dollar General to support the environment, to enable us to be able to empower us to do more. CA Short team, My husband, just got to shout him out because when I'm not at my best and not doing those things, he still loves me. Um,
Beautiful.
and yeah, so I really appreciate you, Sherry. I almost feel like we had like a public live coaching conversation here. Like, so
I think that
really
was pretty
enjoyed it.
co-coaching and that was pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wow. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I can't say thank you enough, you guys. So and unfortunately it is that time again. Thank you again, Kim. And thank you, viewers and listeners, for being with us today for the CA Short Company All In Employee Podcast. It's been fun, it's been informative, and it's been engaging. Now, remember, you're either all in or you're all out. See you next time.
Bye.